What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear. What does DTOM stand for? It stands for Don't Tread on Me. Somebody that in the comments had asked me, if you've been a member or a follower for a while, you understand that, but it means don't tread on me. I am a big proponent of freedom. And so that is what DTOM stands for. I told the guy that I would address that. If you want to know more about the Gadsden flag, or what that flag means, hit me up on Instagram. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it because I'm very passionate about this and this country. So anyways, today's knife, we're going to be talking about this beautiful beast right here. This is a loaner from Doug Sharp _Marbles, a very good friend of the channel. This is the Snafu 2.0. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everybody. The Snafu 2.0. This is a custom knife factory knife, made knife, a Peter Rizzenti design. Now, I've had a couple of Peter Rizzenti's designs, words are hard, on the channel. The first one was the Satori, the full-size Satori. This is the 2.0. You have a Satori 2.0, which is just a little bit smaller, but this ain't no small knife. And then I also had the Spyderco Payson, however you want to say it. Both of those were Peter Rizzenti designs, and they were integrals because that's his thing. Integral means one solid piece of titanium instead of two titanium scales sandwiched together. What does that translate to? Some will argue that it's stronger. Others will argue that it's just more sleek of a design. It doesn't break up as much. Easier to take apart because you have a lot less hardware. But ultimately, in my opinion, being in manufacturing, it is also a lot harder to do. You know, it's relatively easy to take two slabs of titanium and mill them down, pop a couple holes in there, and then put it together with something like a backspacer or barrel spacers and screws and whatnot. It's not a bad design, but if you are in manufacturing and you understand how these things are made, you can appreciate it. Because inside here, solid piece of titanium, they have to cut the lock bar out, or usually they use like a wire EDM to burn it out, very precise. They have to cut this out and cut the inside out, you know, with an end mill or however, which is going to be on a mill, to be able to get all of that cut out and put in place for it to work. And so basically if they mess up, that's it. That titanium block is gone. So I appreciate the integrals for that purpose. That's why usually they are more expensive, because they're harder to produce, they're harder to make, and I like that people are doing that. I like Peter Rizzenti's designs. This one is probably my favorite design. I don't know. It might be a toss-up between this and the Payson. I ended up selling the Payson, and I almost instantly regretted it. It was a very, very nice knife. It did have some issues as well. The Satori was a badass beast. That was loaned by Ryan Studfishing. And now this one is loaned by Doug. And the Snafu is one that I've always wanted to check out. Now this is the 2.0. And the reason I wanted to check this one out, because I like the blade shape better than on the Snafu, because it was like even though it was a crazy compound grind, you know, Tonto with a recurve, this is more of my style of blade. And I just think it looks amazing. Custom Knife Factory, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I'm a huge fan. I love Custom Knife Factory. I love what they're doing. I love the way they produce knives. You know, I mean, you can, who knows, as far as, you know, they get parts made, they bring it in, they put it together. Yeah, I get it. But they do a really good job at it. Whoever they're having making their parts, and whenever they get it in to put it together, they do excellent work. It's a company out of Russia. And if you want to find any of their stuff, you know, they do drops, but they do a lot of collaborations with knife designers like Peter Rizzenti, and then they'll do drops. And usually those drops, you know, could range from anywhere from 250 to 500 knives, maybe even 1,000, but usually smaller drops. I'm not sure how many of the 2.0 Snafus were made. However, I do know that this one is number 222. That's pretty cool. I like the fact that this one is number 222. That is amazing. This is M390. So you got premium steel, premium handle hardware, and then this one also has this beautiful Damascus clip and Damascus, come on camera, pivot collar. We'll get a little bit better close up when we get behind the camera. But man, is it gorgeous. And now, and Damascus is something, as far as me personally, I like, but I'm not in love with. Usually because it's so overpowering, just bright colors and whatnot. I am really digging the way they did this. Like, you can see color, but it's not crazy. This is the way I like Damascus. I think this is absolutely stunning. And so, yeah, big fan, big fan. Also, you know, you get great packaging with Custom Knife Factory. You get a lot of extra hardware, pocket clips. I mean, you get a ton for your money. Now, these aren't cheap. I do not know what these are going for in the secondary market right now, but brand new, these things were like $650. And that's a lot of money. I know a lot of people are going to be like, I'd never spend that on a knife. I get it. I'm a knife collector. I have spent that money and more on knives, and this is one that I was close to buying, and not this one in particular, the full size, because I like the bigger knives, guys. But holy crap, look at this thing. This is not a small knife. I love the ergonomics. The ergonomics are really, really nice. You've got some jimping up here, which is aggressive, so it does lock you in there. It's got a choil, but it ain't no finger choil. Some people can get their finger in there probably, but not my sausagey fingers. There ain't no way. So I cannot use that choil. But in the saber grip, it's a little bit off for me because my thumb rides right there, and you can see that it's past the jimping. I can hold it back here, but it's not natural for me, and I would really only hold it there if I was doing some kind of a stabbing test. Most of the time, my thumb rides right there, and so you can see where that basically just barely fits right where my thumb is. So it's comfortable, but if I'm maneuvering the knife, that will poke me right there. Not a huge deal. This is a knife that you could definitely use hard. It's running on bearings. It is a very, very smooth and durable. So you could use it hard, but I don't. I don't use my knives hard. I do regular EDC tasks. Everybody knows that. About the toughest thing that I do is cut cardboard. So yeah, I would definitely do that with this knife and be very, very happy. The detent on all of Peter Rizzenti designs that I have had is light. It's just one of the things for his designs. It's always a little bit light of a detent. Now, I would say that this one's not horrible. It's not. Now, when Lefty EDC, my brother, when he got it, the lock bar insert and stabilizer there, or the over travel stop, was loose. And so he did not have a detent at all whenever he first got it. So he tightened it up and boom. So basically I do the push button on the flipper tab and it fires out fine. I'm not a huge flipper tab guy. I like that it's there. However, the reason the light detent is kind of nice is because of the fuller there, which I love. I think it aesthetically looks great. But to be able to middle finger flick, that's how I open this knife, and it's so much fun. I wish it still was a little bit stronger of a detent to be able to get that to whip out there, but it works fine. As far as actually being able to whip it out, you can definitely do that. It's not going to come up, out in your pocket or anything like that. Don't worry about that. It does have external blade stops that you can use as thumb studs. So you have a few different ways to open this knife, which is always a plus because knife collectors mainly like to fidget with knives. Not all of us, but I do. And most of my friends that collect knives, we like fidgeting with the knives. We don't use our knives a whole lot, just regular stuff. But the fact that I can just kind of play with this and open it quite a few different ways makes it a really fun one. And it's just gorgeous. I think this knife aesthetically is gorgeous. I mean, come on. And then, of course, you add the pop there with the Damascus, and I love it. I really would like to get a 1.0 in my hand because this thing is bigger than I thought. It's a lot bigger than I thought a 2.0 would be. Now, it's been a little bit since I handled the Satori 1.0, but that thing was a big one. But I just don't remember it being that much bigger than this. So the Snafu 1.0, I would love to get my hands on and really check out because now, as you can see, with it running on bearings, another part of the fidget factor is the absolute drop shut smoothness that you get with Custom Knife Factory. It's just amazing. If you like drop shut knives, look at Custom Knife Factory. One of the best drop shut knives of all time is the Custom Knife Factory 523. There is nothing better as far as just a boop and it drops. No resistance at all. And it's that way on almost all of them. I mean, it's not, these are not the same as far as their drop shut, but as soon as that detent, I mean, you can tell. I mean, it is so super smooth. It is dead centered. It is absolutely no blade play. And the reason for that too is these external blade stops, man. I mean, I love external blade stops for that reason, is because they really do help have that or keep that blade locked in and where you don't have any side-to-side play, which is what you usually would get if you're tuning it. So, yep, I am in love with this knife. Like I said, I mean, for $650, I think it's worth it. For the design that you get, the fact that it's an integral, the materials that they use, I do think it's worth it. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I get it. But almost everybody that I know that have handled this knife and other Peter Rizzeni designs that were made by Custom Knife Factory absolutely love it. So what is the edge geometry here? So this blade, it is a flat grind that comes up. You see, you've got your grind, you've got your flat, you've got your fuller, and the swedge on the top. But when they say hollow, okay, they say it's a hollow grind, and it very well could be. And I actually like it whenever the hollow grind is, I guess, shallow is the word. And it very well could be. It doesn't look very much like a hollow grind to me. When I'm when I'm trying to feel for that, it very well might be a very shallow, hollow grind. But I didn't think it was until I saw it on paper, and I'm like, eh. But I think it's very beautiful. The geometry is pretty nice. It's about 19 to 20 thousandths behind the edge. And so the slicing ability of this knife is really good. No resistance with the paracord to slice cardboard. I mean, it just goes through there with no resistance. It's a very nice cutter, which, let's face it, guys, knives are cutting tools. And this is a good one. This one right here, I think, would make somebody happy for the rest of their life if they were to purchase this and maintain it. I think, the steel lock bar insert, the lockup, everything on this is stellar. Now, let's go ahead and go over some specs and some size comparison. We'll turn the camera around and get a better look at the milling work that's on this, better look at that Damascus, and see what you guys think, because I think you're going to like it. Hey, Roddy, let's see. So you've got this flat, it is not contoured, titanium side. I guess it would be kind of difficult to, I don't know. Being a manufacturer, I think it can be done, but it's very nice and smooth. These grooves do give you grip when you hold this thing. It's not exactly thick, but it's not thin either. So ergonomically, that really does help for grip. These the cutouts on the side. The other side, nice and smooth, because this pocket clip does go in and out of the pocket really, really well. Does not sit deep carry, but I don't mind that. Some people might, but just look at this, guys. Oh, and this camera and lighting is really not doing it justice. Just an excellent pop of color with this Damascus. I think it's perfect. I really, really do. It's not one of those really loud Damascus, it's just got a little pop of color. I think it was excellently well done. I really dig it. Most of the time I steer away from Damascus because of that, even though I think it looks cool. I kind of steer away from it, but this is just the right amount of pop. I can't get over it. Look how beautiful this thing is, guys. Peter Rizzeni is a genius. He really makes quality but just beautiful designs. I absolutely think that this knife probably takes pictures. I take pictures of knives and try to post them on Instagram, but I am not that good at it. This knife I've seen, it's just a photogenic knife. It is a model, okay, of the knife world. It really is. So what are we doing as far as specs, guys? It is not small, even though this is the smaller version. It is 8.875 inches overall. That's not small. Has a 3.875-inch blade. The blade width is about an inch and a quarter and about 180 thousandths thick blade stock. So you've got some pretty decent sized blade stock. And with this hollow grind, they did a really nice job to get this 20 thousandths behind the edge. Because it's not very tall as far as the grind. So they did a really, really good job there. Of course, as a drop point, you have about 5 inches on the handle length. The handle width is about 1 inch as far as this way, and then it's about 480 thousandths this way. So nice and thin, under that half an inch. They just nailed it as far as the dimensions, and I could not be happier. Let's see how much it weighs, because another thing with an integral is you get it all cut out there, but there is not an easy way to do inside pocketing on the titanium scales, or the titanium handle in this case. So that definitely is not going to transfer to lightweight. But for this size of a knife at 5.65 ounces, nearly a 9-inch knife, come on. I think that's excellent. It does not feel like a brick in your pocket at all. It carries very well, and I love it. If you are like me and you like the bigger size knives, this is definitely one to look at. I know this is a lot of people's grail knife, and for good reason. So let's go ahead and put it up against some others in this category. This is the Spartan Harsey Folder. So very similar in overall size. You definitely have different kind of ergonomics going on, but very similar knives. The other custom knife factory that I have with me right now is that 523, definitely a larger knife, the 523, but not by much. Definitely a very, way thicker in the handle, but that translates to a lot of comfort. I think this knife is more comfortable than this one. Not that this is uncomfortable, but I like a handle to fill my big old hands, and the 523 does it. The Snafu definitely is thin, but it's not too thin, guys. I think it's just about perfect for me to be able to wrap my hand around and not feel like I'm just kind of a midget, shaking hands with a gorilla. I think it's just there to be, and if it does it with my hands, guys, if you've got smaller hands, I think it's going to be great as well. The only other knife I want to put up here against this is the Koenig Arius. The Koenig Arius definitely coming in a little bit smaller, but as you can see, as far as the manufacturing and whatnot, the Custom Knife Factory, Spartan Harsey Folder, and Custom Knife Factory, you're getting very, very high quality products here with premium materials. And if you have not experienced this, I know a lot of people use knives for tools, and I get it. If you are a collector and you haven't gotten to that point, $650 is a ton of money. The Koenig Arius, this one's not as bad, the Spartan Harsey, but these great, first of all, these two great American companies that we want to support firsthand. I want you to please, if you can swing it to try, you won't lose. You won't lose much money if you buy one of these. Some of these you won't lose any money at all. You'll probably make money if you try to sell it down the line. But it is just worlds different between the knives that you buy, even a Spyderco Benchmade. They don't compare, and the prices reflect that. But it's worth it, guys. I'm telling you, until you experience it, it's one of those things you have to do if you're a knife guy. So anyways, as far as the Snafu, I like it. Can I recommend it? Absolutely, I can recommend it. If you can afford it, if you're a collector and you like this design, the way it's put together, I really, really love. I wish it had just a tad bit of a stronger detent, but the detent for me is not a deal breaker because it fires out when I want it to fire it out. Oh, and it doesn't have any jimping. I forgot to mention that. It doesn't have any jimping, and even with the light detent, sometimes when I'm doing the push button, I slip off, but that's just because I do it. If you do the light switch, it still fires out fine. I just, for some reason, prefer the push button. Then, of course, of all of them, I prefer the middle finger flick. So Guys, sharp_marbles, Doug, you are an absolute gentleman and a scholar. I love you so much. Definitely go and check him out. I have his Instagram here and linked down below. Go give him a follow. Let him know that we appreciate him so much for allowing us to get knives like this. Doug has never met me in before, and he has become such a good friend to the channel, me, Lefty. Kevin, it's just amazing, these people in this community that allow us to get these knives in hand and show you. It's just amazing. I'm still dumbfounded to this day, and I've been doing it for nearly a year now, guys. Can you believe that? Holy crap. So anyway, stay safe, guys, in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.